Anyway, di ko napapahabain pa. Ating pong i-welcome ang ating facilitator for today. Sabi ko, magtatawag ako mamaya na lang sa huli. Ang ating pong facilitator ay ang ating very active, very mabait, very approachable. Sabi kasi gumamit doon ng adjectives sa pagpapakilala ng speaker. Siyempre po ang ating Master Teacher 1 ng Math Department, si Mr. Lervin A. Alves.
Thank you, Ma'am Lai. Good morning again to you and good morning to all my fellow teachers in Mathematics Department. So anyway, let's start because the original plan or the timeline is to deliver this in 2 hours. Yesterday, when I presented this to the ESP department, it took 1.5 hours for me to finish it, including their questions. And before I started yesterday, it was also the meeting first of Sir J. Espina. So let me first share the session guide for today. So eto, no, Learning Action Cell, Session Guide, Mathematics Department, Observable Object, and paghandaan. Then the session, familiarize proficient teachers with the features of practice of the classroom, observable objective for RPMS. So for teacher 1 and teacher 3, it is expected for teacher 1 to teacher 3 that you get a rating of at least proficient, no? For the master teacher, at least very proficient. So yun ang ina-anticipate natin. Enabling objectives, unpack classroom, observable indicators based on standards and features of practice. Cite instances in the daily lesson plan, DLP, where the classroom observable objectives or COOs be manifested or attained. Clarify misconceptions on how to execute, apply the indicators. Significance of the study. This session is a form of giving reorientation and technical assistance to proficient teachers in the department or subject group in order for them to manifest the expectation for an outstanding teacher. So mas maganda pala, outstanding tayo, no? Based on the RPMS PPST for school year 2021-2022, specifically with the classroom observable indicators. Then may mga materials dyan. I will not read everything indicated in the session guide, but later on you will be given a copy that you may download in our GC, no? But to summarize this, so the significance of this activity is to give you an technical assistance and to familiarize you with the new objectives and indicators that are included in our COT. Although some of you were observed last year by myself, no, I would say, and I would like to thank all of you that I did not just give you a technical assistance, but it's a two-way relationship. It's a reciprocation because I learned something from you also. At alam ko, ini-expect ko na may matututunan din po ako sa inyo. Is there any question about session guide before I present the PPT for the observable objectives and indicators? Before I proceed. Naririnig pa po ba ako?
Opo. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So from time to time, like what we were doing in our classes, in synchronous class, we try to ask questions in order to make sure that that our learners or students can still listen to us. Okay, now ito po yun sa PPT natin, RPMS. Nakikita na po ba? So we have classroom observable objectives, paghandaan at ipakita March 30, 2022, no? The date is March 30, 2022 because the presentation of this to us was last March 30, 2022, but by Ma'am Irene Marcelo and Master Adelma Estopacio, no? Dapat noon pa din ito sa atin, kaya lang na-postpone po ng na-postpone because of some activities. So, yung una is objective 1, no? We are very familiar with this, like last school year, under indicator 1, in the objective 1, apply knowledge of content within and across curriculum teaching areas. So, very familiar po tayo dyan. So, like what we did before, last school year, we are going to indicate also the indicators, no? Last time, I think there were 3 objectives that are observable. If I remember it right, objectives 1, 5, and 7. In your new COT, it's not the objectives are indicated, but the indicators. Okay? I hope you can follow. So dito, ang unang indicator ay indicator 1 under objective 1. The features of practice. The teacher applies extensive knowledge, content beyond her area of specialization. Like in our case, our area of specialization is mathematics. We are expected that we can apply extensive knowledge of content beyond, no? So meaning we are not going to focus only in the area of specialization, which is mathematics, but we can cope with other subjects also, no? At magagaling kayo dyan. Halimbawa, pwede natin yung problems natin, i-apply natin sa ESP, pwedeng sa MAPE, no? Tapos meron tayong explanation doon, no? Meron tayong mga explanation doon. So, yun din ang gagawin natin. The teacher motivates learners to investigate the teaching area to expand their knowledge and satisfy their curiosity. Motivation is very important for the teachers, no? And also, for the learners itself, no? I do not know if you're going to agree with me, but it was mentioned during the debate by Professor Carlos that there are only 2 very important factors so that the learning will take place. And number 1 is what we call the mastery of the subject matter. And then number 2 is the motivation of the teachers and to the students. So, kailangan natin yun. The teacher cites intra. No, the meaning of intra in Google is also within, and interdisciplinary content relationship. The teacher shows expertise in the content and uses appropriate pedagogy in delivering the lesson. So like what I said a while ago, the number 1 really is the mastery of the subject matter. No? Sorry to say, no, pero I am teaching for how many years already, no, including in the private school. I have 13 years in private, no. Sa lahat ng private school na napagturuan ko, laging binibigyan ng emphasis ng aming principal. Ang number 1 talaga dyan is the mastery of the subject matter. So we need really to prepare ourselves before facing our students, no. Kaya ang term dito, expertise, no. So, expertise in the content and uses appropriate art of teaching in delivering the lesson. So, yan po yung indicator 1. And then, this is just an explanation of how are we going to be rated in the indicator 1. No? The lowest is 3. I will not read it to you anymore. And the highest is 7. No? Meron siyang 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So, in any rate, in all indicators, the lowest that you are going to get is 3. if that is observed. And the highest is 7 if that is observed. However, if no observe had been made by the observer, you will be rated as NO, meaning not observed. For the 7, the teacher applies accurate, in-depth, and broad knowledge of content and pedagogy that creates a conducive, take a note the word, no, conducive learning environment that enables an in-depth and sophisticated understanding of the teaching and learning process to meet individual or group learning needs within and across curriculum teaching areas. So 3 to 7. And then this is just an example of the DLL and the DLP and the part of DLL and DLP. So we are going to follow, if we submit lesson plan, during our observation, the idea, no, that we have the introduction, and then we have the, we have the development, we have the engagement, and we have the assimilation, no. For the idea, we can have the review of the previous lesson or presenting the new lesson. For the approach, present a new lesson in the context of the learner's real life experience to establish meaningful connections across curriculum content. For the curriculum content, in this example, we have reading and writing skills. For content being linked, understanding, culture, society, and politics. So ito yung present ng teacher sa kanyang DLL, yung curriculum content niya. No? I was supposed to give you a copy of the mathematics itself, no, but I ran out of time. No, like yesterday, I reported pa sa school, di ba? Nasa school po ko kahapon. So dito, ang ginawa lang ng teacher, the teacher show a screenshot, hindi ko nababasahin yan. So, ng social media post, no? So, under his or her introduction. So, dito naman, for letter B, introduction uli ang kanyang nasa DLL niya, establishing a purpose of the lesson. And at the same time, under development, present niya yung examples and instances of new lesson, no? So, meron siyang another introduction, yung purpose, at saka meron na rin siyang development, no? Sabi, for the approach, the teacher applies knowledge on interdisciplinary curriculum areas by using direct instruction in reinforcing teaching concept and providing guide questions in the viewing activity. I know we are all familiar with the direct instruction. The instruction really is coming from the teacher. Unlike in the indirect instruction, we are only guiding the students to learn and to discover, no? That is what we call indirect instruction. Pero dito, the approach of the teacher is what we call direct instruction, no? So for the curriculum content, yung pa din, reading and writing skills, and then content being linked is under physical science. Sabi dito, nagpapanood siya, viewing and analyzing the video clip, no? Yun ang ginawa niya, no? Meron siya ditong explanation on the upper right side of the DLL. So, slide 6. Originally, we have 69 slides, but I added 2 more slides. So we will be having 71 slides. I hope we will be able to finish this presentation at exactly 12 o'clock, lunchtime. Okay? Or earlier, better, or earlier. So dito naman sa next slide, pinakita lang po dito ang development at saka development 1 at saka development 2. No? Meron siyang practicing new skills under number 1 and then practicing new skills under number 2. So dito naman, ang ginamit niyang approach is the teacher uses indirect instruction through reflective discussion in formulating, evaluating statement. So I'm still in the presenting the part of the DLL or the daily lesson plan. So for letter F, dito naman, andito na kanya yung assessment niya, no, leads to formative assessment, engagement na to. And this is what we call developing mastery, no? Nag-group lang siya dito, no? Nag-group lang siya. And then, For another part of the DLL in the engagement, meron siyang finding practical application of concepts and skills. And then for the assimilation, making generalization and abstraction about the lesson, no? I do not know if you are familiar because before I was the one who was giving the generalization, but I was advised by some observers in private and public school that it would be better if the learners or the students will be the one to give the generalization or abstraction. No? But if they're having difficulty about giving the generalization, we may guide our students. Okay? Sabi nga dito sa approach, the teacher incorporates previously learned enabling competencies within the reading and writing skills curriculum. Reading and writing kasi siya. Slide 9. Ito pa din yun, under assimilation, nag-evaluate na siya ng learner. At pagkatapos, under letter J, additional activities for application or remediation is given to the learners. No? If we need to give additional activities for remediation, we may do so, or additional activities for application. So to do this, pwede nating ibigay kaagad if we have time, but if we're running out of time, pwede naman natin itong ibigay as a form of assignment. So we are now in the objective 3. If you will notice, or you might notice that there is no objective 2 because objective 2 is not observable. So dito tayo sa objective 3. In the objective 3, we have indicator 2, display proficient use of mother tongue, Filipino and English, to facilitate teaching and learning. And according to this, in the field of education, language is one of the important factors that should be given attention because it is the excellent key. Let me reiterate, excellent key to learning at achievement of students in various academic subject areas. Since we are in Calabarzon, specifically, we are in Region 4, Southern Tagalog. Tama ba ako? Sorry. Calabarzon, Region 4A, no? Kasama tayo sa Region Tagalog. So, Tagalog tayo or Filipino, no? So, we don't have yet, yun na rin ang mother tongue natin. So, but if you are a teacher in Pangasinan, so there are two possible, pwedeng Ilocano, or you use Pangasinense o Pangalatok. That will be allowable. But let us focus in Dasmariñas. So, ang pwede po natin gamitin ay either Filipino or English. But since the medium of instruction in our module and in our LMS is English, it is required for us, mathematics teacher, to use English as medium of instruction in teaching. And this one is under objective 2 and indicator 2, which will be observed by the observer, either Ma'am Laila or myself or both of us. So, kailangan mag-i-English tayo, no? Sabi dito, what is the medium of instruction used in the subject area you are handling? Do you use the MOL in your classes? Why? So, kung ginagamit nga natin ay English, dapat po English din ang gagamitin natin. And I'm practicing now to deliver this presentation in English. Again, the means of verification again. No? By the way, we are going to observe either by synchronous class. Please correct me, Ma'am Lai, if I'm wrong. No? Pwede rin ng limited face-to-face classes kasi may limited face-to-face classes na tayo ngayon. O kaya naman yung demonstration teaching, no? In some school, madami na akong nakita sa Facebook na demonstration ng ginagawa nila. Yung mga teacher ang nagiging mga estudyante nila, no? 2 school na ang nakita ko. So, ganun din tayo. Pati sa MDL, ganun din po. Whether MDL or ODL, ganun. Andyan pa po ba kayo?
Sir, opo, permission to speak po.
Yes, ma'am.
Ayun. Regarding dun sa kung paano tayo mag-o-observe sa kanila, sir, may napag-usapan, either synchronous or limited tayo.
So
Sa
wala na yung
synchronous,
demonstration class.
opo, wala sa choices nila yon nung nung nag-meeting ng regarding doon.
Yes, ma'am,
Di
I
ba
understand the meeting, pero what I am presenting in this slide 3, may nakalagay kasi dito that if options 1 and 2 are not possible, an observation of demonstration
Opo.
is
Pero tayo,
possible.
sa kanila ay via synchronous lang at saka kay limited.
So, ayun po, no? Let's take note of that. If there will be changes, I know we will be informed. If pwede yung teaching demonstration, I know we will be informed at the proper time. May question po ba tungkol sa clarification ni Ma'am Lai? Before I proceed, wala. If wala, let me continue under indicator 2, no? Display proficient use of mother tongue, Filipino and English to facilitate teaching and learning, no? Sabi dito, no? Teachers' use of mother tongue and or Filipino or English demonstrate a well-developed ability in using communication strategies, such as code switching and translation. The teacher uses precise vocabulary and intonation to express meaning and often shows great fluency and ease in delivering the lesson. So it's very important for the teacher to have mastery when it comes to the medium of instruction that we are going to use. And in our case, I think it will be English. It would be better for each one of us if we are very rich in vocabulary and we can play with the words, because this one will be rated by the observer, no? I do not know if Ma'am Laila still remember that during the presentation of Ma'am Topacio, it was asked by Sir Pinales under MAPE if they will be allowable maybe once in a while to speak or to deliver the lesson in Filipino, since sometimes if the English will or the lesson will be taught in English, some students or learners will be having difficulty to understand. So the first answer of Ma'am Topacio was they are not allowed, no? Kasi English ang kanilang ginagamit sa LMS no? At saka sa module. So dapat daw talaga po ay English. I do not know, Ma'am Lai, kung merong another arrangement. Alam ko nag-meeting kayo nag-request si Ma'am Topacio Meron po ba, Ma'am Lai, na like in math, ito din ang tanong sa akin kahapon. Sabi ko, tanungin nila si Sir Espina sa ESP. Minsan kasi merong mga words sa math na ang hirap i-translate sa Tagalog, no? At meron din naman minsan na meron tayong mga Tagalog term na if we are teaching the lesson, talagang English talaga ang parang mas madali. Once in a while ba, allowed kami na mag-Pilipino, Ma'am Lai?
Ayun. Sa akin, sir, hinihingi kasi dito kay RPMS COT tool, kailangan gamit natin medium of instruction talaga ng pagtuturo is English. Pero syempre, talagang actually, nasa isip ko na nasa isip ng bawat isa na hindi nga sila makaintindi. Yung ganito, hindi nga nila maintindihan yung simple instruction. Pero since pa-practicing nga natin na magamit natin si English as na language, madadahan-dahan natin ang bata. Pero syempre po, sa pag-explain na natin sa kanila, sa pagde-discuss, may ilang terms doon na mas ikaka-okay kung itatranslate natin. Actually, mother tongue. Gumamit tayo ng mother tongue. 'Di ba? So, okay lang mag-touch tayo ng Tagalog pagka minsan. Kasi kailangan, like for example, gusto nating ipaliwanag, explain kay bata na mas madali ang intersection. Pero hindi nila mag-gets si intersection. Ba't di natin sabihin na may pinagtagpo? And definitely, Tagalog siya. Di tayo gumamit ng mother tongue. Pero syempre po, along the way, habang tayo nagtuturo, tayo ay meron ditong may matatouch si sir na kailangan fluent, blah, 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 para makuha natin si 7. So, gumagamit tayo ng English, pero we can kung sa akin, sir, si sir mag-observe din, pag-uusapan natin to po din, hindi. Ngayon na dapat pala pag-usapan. Kung sa akin, kung ako po ay hindi ako masyadong maghihigpit or maghahanap, lalo na't nagtagalog si teacher, kung mga translation at further pang explanation, why not? Wala pong problema. Yun po.
Yes, thank you, Ma'am Lai. I agree with you.
Dagdagan mo, sir.
Ako din, agree din ako sa inyo doon na from time to time, kung kailangan talagang medyo i-translate, no, for discussion and learning purposes. So, pwede naman yon, we are going to consider, no. We will be considered. In fact, kung natatandaan nyo during the meeting of this, no, yung pangkalahatan na meeting na meron ng RPMS, it was mentioned by Ma'am Hermoso for the observer, for the head teachers and master teachers that we need to be considerate, no? Kayo naman mga teacher daw, ang sabi niya doon, basta pinakamahalaga ay magturo ng maayos, magturo ng mabuti, at matuto ang mga bata. At wag din naman masyadong mag-expect ng mga super taas, but the observer will always be considerate to you. Like in ESP kahapon, nabanggit nga, kasi minsan ang hirap din itagalog, katulad meron silang term na ginamit kahapon na premarital sex, no? Maring madaling minsan yung conversion din or translation, sometimes it is awkward to hear if we are going to translate. So, okay po tayo doon, okay? May tanong po ba so far? Wala. Okay? So, ito din yon, yung indicator to display proficient use of mother tongue, Filipino, and English to facilitate teaching and learning. No? Ang term na ginamit doon, proficient. Then, the ability, for the proficient use, the ability of the teacher to use the medium of instruction clearly, accurately, and fluently to facilitate the teaching and learning process. Do I use the medium of instruction, English, Filipino, clearly, accurately, and fluently to facilitate the teaching and learning process? No? Kasi mahalaga po yan, no? That is very important, yung communication skills ng teacher, no? When it comes to the teaching, because we are going to get not only the attention of the learners, but it will also motivate the interactive participation of our learners or students, no? Sabi dito, no, mother tongue, this refers to the native language or the first language the learner learns as a child. Mother tongue shall, mandatory, be used as the medium of instruction in all subjects except Filipino and English as a subjects from grade 1 to grade 3, no? Hindi naman sa atin to, pero kung grade 1 to grade 3 ka, kung Bisaya ang mga estudyante mo, dapat talaga ituturo mo ang mathematics at ang science sa dialect na yon o sa mother tongue na yon. Pero kung Filipino or English, dapat kung Filipino, Filipino, kung English, English, no? Regardless of the region that where they belong. Clarity. This refers to word choice and appropriate expressions of a particular language for teaching. So, kailangan, we need to be particular for the language or expression or word that we are going to use. The question, do I think of appropriate words, expression, and intonation when I plan and execute my lesson so that the learners will be able to understand it? In my practice of teaching, sometimes it is deliberate on my part to have an intonation, no? Medyo, I am playing with the words and intonation, and the students like it, no? So, nakukuha nila, no? Nakukuha nila yon. Minsan, binibiro ko sila, andito pa ba kayo? Ano po to? O, halimbawa, something like that. So, yung mga appropriate words, kailangan maging maingat po tayo. In order, like what I said a while ago, to get attention and to motivate students to listen and to participate. Do I ensure my lesson and instructional materials are grammatically correct, do I deliver my lesson with ease using grammatically correct sentences? So, medyo on the positive side, this is good because we are going to review the subject-verb agreement and the grammar, and not only in English, even in Filipino, like the proper use of the maiksing nang and the mahabang nang, no? Medyo kailangan po nating i-review yan. Kaya do I deliver with ease, no? Sabi dito, kung tama ang ating correct sentences. So, siguro once in a while we speak in English, no? Maybe we can have a English speaking environment once in a while in mathematics in order to practice. Andyan pa po ba? Okay, thank you. So, ayan, katulad lang yan kanina, no? Do I deliver my lesson clearly and with ease? Ano ba sa Tagalog ang with ease? Parang confident, with confidence, no? If we know the language, if we are familiar with the language, if we are expertise with the language, not to mention with the lesson proper or the subject matter, eventually we will be having confidence and it will be very clear. No, it will be very clear. So, ito naman, inulit lang, no? Dito, under the procedure, ito naman yung mga illustration. Ang tawag dito ay context clues, no? Or we call this definition or anong tawag dyan sa English? Definition of terms, no? Definition of terms. Pero dito, context clues ang ginamit na term, no? Under the illustration of practice, no? The teacher will use a projector and present a set of pictures following the concept of reverse 4 picks 1 word. The learners will be asked a question every time a part of the picture is revealed. May mga picture siya, no? And this one is not only context clues. Dito magaling si Sir Biner, no? Before mag-present siya ng kanyang meeting, if you will notice, meron siyang pre-present na mga picture, no? May mga context siya. Tapos, sumasagot po tayo minsan o yung ating mga gusto doon sa mga present niya. Dito ang present niya, no? The theory that the Earth's surface is composed of plates whose constant displacement cause seismic activities. Faith Levin, medyo madilim ha. Tingnan nyo yung sinampay. Sorry ha, hindi ko maano po. Sorry, hindi ko ma-mute eh. Siguro dahil Yes po. Yes, sir, but like what Ma'am Lai said, no, kailangan din naman syempre magde-deliver din tayo ng English. No? It's not purely Tagalog. Later on, I will present to you, hindi ko alam kung nilampasan ko. If we start in Filipino, if we start a sentence in a certain word in Filipino, we finish it in Filipino. If we start a sentence in English, a certain word in English, and then, we have to finish it in English, no? Mamaya ipapakita ko, hindi ko alam kung nalampasan ko siya. Hindi pwedeng halo, no? Na nag-start tayo ng Tagalog, halimbawa, sinabi natin, the intersection is mahirap, ma-determine. Or the intersection is wala, something like that, no? So, we have to say, since we started, the intersection is none. So, hindi is wala, something like that. Did I answer your question? O, yun yun. Pero syempre, may fluency pa din. Okay po? Para nalampasan ko yata. Tingnan ko lang babalikan ko. Wala pa, mamaya. Okay, let me proceed. So yan, no, nagpakita lang siya dito ng picture, and then for the slide 23, in-explain lang yan, no, sa science po to. Big chunk of land mass whose constant displacement of movement causes seismic activities or earthquakes. So, eto yun, no, dito, no, sa context clues, hints to help define and understand a difficult or unusual word, no? So, nag-a-unlock ng difficulties, no? Unlocking difficulties or unlocking the term, no? Nung bago akong teacher, puro definition of terms lamang ang ginagamit natin. Ngayon, meron ng context clues. Sabi dito, under synonym, her tenacity, her determination brought her glory. So, ang meaning pala ng tenacity is determination at nagbigay siya ng sentence, no? Her determination brought her glory, or her tenacity brought her glory. Meron din dito antonym, no? The happy days became poignant. Is that poignant? When the war broke out in Europe. Did I pronounce it correctly, Ma'am Launi? Poignant or poignant?
Ang hirap naman ng tanong mo, sir.
Okay, sorry assignment na lang natin yun. Actually, tinatawag yan sa GC Parang poignant yata yan kasi walang slash So, ang meaning lang pala nun, happy days lang pala yun. Antonym. So, meaning, malungkot to when the war broke out in Europe, no? So, ayan po. Hints, ayan pa din, under context to hints to help define and understand a difficult or unusual word. Ayan, yung institution, meaning preschool, elementary, high school, and university. So, yun lang yun. Under procedure, again, assimilation, relate the concept of the lesson to the theme of the context used, which is environmental protection. Yan. Illustration pa din yan, no? Ng ano. So, sa science pa din to, in adapting to the consequences of climate change, what is the most essential thing to do? So, ito sasagutan ng bata. This is the question, no? So, pero you may paraphrase it in the next slide. Pag nahihirapan ng bata, sabi dito, in adjusting to the effects of climate change, what is the most important thing to do? Like in math, there are some questions that they cannot get. We may not give the answer right away, but instead, we paraphrase the question. Okay po? So, it's a paraphrasing. And paraphrasing also is one aspect in context clues, like in the definition or the unlocking of terms. So, if we need to use synonym, better. If we need to use the keywords, better. We need to change the word form, pwede din. So, katulad nung ginawa doon, no, in order to adjust the effects of climate change, what is the most important thing to do? And then change the sentence structure, kung pwede nating palitan, katulad ng ginawa, better yun. So, there are some words that are, eto yung kaninang sinasabi natin, no? There are some words in Filipino that are having, that are difficult to translate in English, no? So, kailangan maghahanap din talaga tayo ng vocabulary, no? So, katulad yan, binuro, salted, and fermented, no? Patay mo nga muna yung aking, yung mani, patay mo na. Yung binuro, salted, and fermented, no? For example, the word tabo, o ano ba English ng tabo? Parang water dipper yata, no? Banggarehan. Merong gano'n, no? From English to Filipino and Filipino to English. So, pag mga gano'n, pwede naman natin, no? Katulad ng intersection, sabi nga ni Ma'am Lay kanina, yung union. So, alangan naman itagalog pa natin yan. So, basta naintindihan ng bata yung concept. When all possibilities to communicate the same message in the medium of instruction used in the class have been exhausted and failed. DAP 1990. No? Lahat ng possibilities para maintindihan nila under the medium of instruction, gagawin po ng teacher yon. Kasi it's useless to use a word that they do not understand. Or their understanding is different from our understanding. Kaya merong context clues or definition of terms. So ito lang mga kasabihan lang to about language and flexibility. Kaya kailangan talaga flexible tayo. Kailangan nako-comprehend ng message. At saka it reduce anxiety among learners. You just imagine if I'm going to teach mathematics for every day for 1 hour and I would not utter even a single word in Filipino. Not to mention that the environment that we have in school, not only in school, even in their home, even in their barangay, is Filipino or Tagalog. So medyo magkakaroon ng anxiety. So from time to time, pwede naman yun. I-adjust natin. Unless otherwise, we need to be flexible also if we have a student na hindi marunong mag-Tagalog. Halimbawa, kadarating lang. In some cases, if we have like that. Ito yun, no? Code mixing or code switching. No? I saw Lisa kagabi in the mall. Dami namang story to share kasi. So instead of saying I saw Lisa kagabi in the mall, kailangan we switch it in one language only. I saw Lisa last night in the mall. No? So dami namang stories to share kasi. Better to say, tumagal ang kwentuhan namin sa dami ng kwento. So ito yung sinasabi ko, no, bilingual, no. Ang definition ng bilingual, we start in Filipino, we end in Filipino. We start in English, we end in English. So huwag ganito, no. Huwag po ganito na code mixing. Then we are now in objective 4, indicator 3. Ayan, no. Ito yan, verbal and non-verbal communication strategies to support learning, understanding, participation, engagement, and achievement. No? So if we are in front of our student, the eyes of the students are with us. The eyes of the student should be with us. So we should be careful with all our gestures and actions and intonations, even raising of the eyebrows. Kasi nakikita nila yan. On the positive side, we call this non-verbal communication. It will help, no, to get the attention of the students and to stimulate their mind and to motivate the learners to have an active participation, no. So kailangan natin yung non-verbal. If we need to have gesture, yung body actions natin, yung kamay natin, no, kapag nagsasalita, nakakatulong po yan, no. Aside from the verbal, if we have fluency, and then if we have a clear delivery of our language and the subject matter, no. So mahalaga yan in order that learning will take place. So ganun ang ano natin. So ang rating niyan, 3 to 7 na naman. So hindi ko na po i-explain yan. Bibigyan ko naman ako yun ng kopya nito. Let's go to objective 5, indicator 4. Establish safe and secure learning environment to enhance learning through the consistent implementation of policies, guidelines, and procedure. So the indicator 4 is for the safe and security of the students. And at the same time, if we have the safe and security among our students, the learning will take place in our classroom environment. So, mahalaga yan. So, if we can avoid leaving our students, better. So, in my practice, kapag pinatawag ako sa office dati, halimbawa, pinatawag ako, nagtuturo po ako, kailangan, sasabihin ko doon sa officers, take charge, no? Para medyo safe sila at saka binibili ng din ng ating mga estudyante. Kasi pag tayo basta umalis, lalo nang wala tayong bilin sa mga yon, sabi nga ng kasabihan, baka may magsaksakan ng ballpen dyan, pananagutan natin yan. Especially kung basta iniwan natin na wala tayong pasabi at wala tayong valid reason. So, let's take care of that. No? Hindi lang yon, we need to be aware na we are not going to tolerate yung mga bullying, teasing, some students who are very rude to the students, no, especially to the girls. So let's take note of that, no. Kailangan alam ng mga estudyante na safe at secure ang kanilang ating classroom. We are not going to tolerate any bullying, any rude behavior, or any teasing, no? Yung mga pambubuska, pati yung mga stealing, no? Minsan kasi may mga nakawan na gaganapin, no? So, mas maganda yon, medyo mas safe po tayo. And then, ang rating po niyan, again, the lowest is 3 and 7. If not observed, that will be a rating of NO. Andyan pa po ba, before I proceed to the slide 40?
Opo.
Okay, for the slide 40, this is a general guidelines. No, sabi dito, treat your teachers and classmates with respect in email or any other communication. Number 2, your response must be reflective, well considered, and written clearly and courteously. Please avoid text spelling. Be careful with personal information under number 3. And lastly, for number 4, do not send confidential information via email. So, this is a guidelines for the teachers and for the classmates na we treat everyone with respect, no? And then course rules, respect yourself. So, dapat pala tayo mismo ang irerespeto ng ating sarili, no? So, kumbaga, when it comes to love, sabi sa kasabihan, no? Magtira daw para sa sarili mo. Respect yourself, no? Respect your teacher. On the part of us, we respect our students, no? Respect the classmate. On the part of the teachers, we respect our fellow teacher. Late work due to procrastination will not be accepted, no? Ito under the course rule, no? Pero syempre, ano naman tayo, considerate tayo. Pag medyo nahuli with valid reason, maging considerate din naman tayo, no? So, pero dapat talaga, hindi tayo masanay, no? Lalo tayong teachers na procrastination, no? Yung laging parang manyana habit, no? Bukas na lang, hanggang medyo maipon na yung gagawin natin. Kaya under number 5, late work due to legitimate emergency may be accepted. The due date and time associated with each quiz, discussion, exam, assignment are stated clearly in Moodle. No? So, yan lang yan. Mga paano lang po yan. Reminder lang yan. Slide 41 pala yun. Then 42. So, dito yung mga security lang about password, no? Kailangan secure tayo. Tapos, may email netiquette, may forum netiquette, no? Yung kaninang prinisend kanina ni Ma'am Lai, no? Pati yung ano, no? Sorry to say this, no? Pero ako sa synchronous class ko, inaalaw ko ang mga students na pag medyo nakita nila na medyo nag-post na ako, pwede sila mag-back-in. No, inaalaw ko yon. Pero as much as possible, better magtaas ng kamay. Kaya ako lang naman inaalaw yon. Minsan kasi po, hindi ko nakikita. Alam niyo naman ako, I'm not very much knowledgeable when it comes to the application. Minsan hindi ko napapansin. May nakataas na pala ng kamay. Of course, may timing yon, no? So, consistent part of the routine activities during synchronous class. Dito naman, pinakita lang again yung mga parte, no, nung lesson plan natin, no, during synchronous, kasi magpre-present tayo ng DLL. Meron dito learning area, andyan ng MEL, andyan ng specific learning objective, yung teacher, activity task, course overview, blah, 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 pati yung idea, no. And our DLL, like what I said, yung 9 indicators nakalagay doon, no? Indicator 1, yun yung across the curriculum within and across the curriculum area or area of specialization. So, and then we have indicator 2, indicator 3, 4, hanggang 9 po yun. Yun na nakalagay, hindi yun objectives, no? Ito lang yung continuous, no? After idea, meron tayong engagement, assimilation, at saka additional activities for application of remediation, no? So, yan ang isasubmit natin bago po tayo magpa-observe sa head teacher or sa master teacher. And then we are now in objective 6, indicator 5, maintain learning environment that promotes fairness, respect, and care to encourage learning, no? Yung mga susunod sa slide, dito din umiikot, no? Dapat talaga may fairness tayo, no? Regardless of there is no what we call favoritism, no? Regardless of their intellectual capacity or ability, regardless of their economic status, regardless of their outward appearance, regardless of regardless of everything, kailangan meron tayong fairness and respect and care to everyone, no? By God's grace, when I arrived in Congress, alam yan ni Ma'am Lontok, no? During my second year, no? Yung section 1 laging na ipagkakatiwala sa akin. Wala pa pong step noon, no? Wala pang step noon. And even in the case like that, never in my case, I am telling you the truth, that section 1 is my favorite. Although, when it comes to the discussion, I would always be looking forward to discuss challenging question to the section 1 kasi may challenging question ako eh. But nonetheless, lahat sila, kahit yung mga magugulo, no, kahit yung mga magugulo. And time will come, we will notice, kahit yung mga magugulo, we will be remembered by our student if we promote fairness, respect, and care. No? At kapag na ganyan, eventually nakita nila yan, no, we can encourage learning. No? The encouragement for learning will be followed. So, yan yun, learning environment, fairness, impartial, just treatment or behavior, no? Dapat impartial tayo or there is no favoritism, no? Sometimes being an advisor or teacher, subject teacher, may mga cases na ilalapit sa atin, no? Titimbangin natin ang bawat case, no? Hindi ko mo matalino yung isa or mabait, hindi po pwede na wala na siyang kasalanan. Halimbawa, nagtalo sila tungkol dahil sa isang pasawan. So, titimbangin po natin yan. In fact, sinare ko kahapon, meron ako estudyante na dati na pag tinignan nyo ang outward appearance nun, laging absent yun. Sa tabi ng ilog yun eh, farmer pa yun. No? Second year siya nun, talagang malimit absent yun. Pag nakikita mo yun, minsan ang kuko nun parang andumi. Kasi nga, siya yung gumagawa ng gawaing bahay, nag-iigib pa siya ng tubig, tapos nagtatanim pa siya. So, kahit ganun ng bata, dapat ay fair daw ang tingin natin. Pagkatapos, alam niyo yung batang yun, talagang dadalhan ako noon ng mga prutas pag siya ay nag-harvest. No? Masayang-masaya siya. At siyempre, masayang-masaya din ako pag nabibigyan. So, ito yun, under indicator 5, continuous lang yan, no? Dapat kulay tayo and respectful interaction with learners and our learners. No? Kaya, dapat medyo control tayo. Minsan, kahit nagkagalit tayo, control pa rin tayo, no? Especially nowadays, the protection of the learners and student is very really protected, no? Under the law. So, medyo ingat tayo pati doon sa mga words, no, na ating bibitawan sa kanila, no. Kahit na ang bata ay paulit-ulit, kahit galit tayo, no, we have what we call outbursts of emotion, no. If I may share to you, meron akong student na matanda na, I think 18 years old, grade 9, medyo luko-luko. Minsan may mga teacher na nagagalit sa kanya at may pagkabastos talaga, ha. Pero ako hinahabaan ko yung pasensya sa kanya being the advisor. minsan ng teacher pag nagalit sa kanya, sinabihan siya na kaya ka 18 years old na, grade 9 ka pa lang. Eh. So iiwasan natin 'yon, no? Of course, it's an outburst of the emotion of the teachers, no? Because of the anger, maybe, during that time, no? So yung bata, sumasagot, no? Medyo kulo-kulo ko nga, sumasagot. So talagang binabastos yung teacher. Kaya ayoko kitang teacher, gusto ko na nga lumipat sa iba, Something like that. So dapat medyo ano. Pero sa akin, mabait yun. In fact, alam niya na ayoko nang bubuli, nang babastos, Yun dinala ko sa office, talagang pinagsisigawan ko yan. Sa harapan ni Sir Espina, inawat nga ako ni naman Marcelo, pinalabas ako Dahil sa galit ko, meron siyang binelto ka na kaklase, umiiyak lalaki, hindi makalaban sa kanya. Talagang inano ko yun. Pero wala akong sinabi sa kanyang masama. Ang sinigaw ko lang sa kanya po, if I may share, and with humility, sinabi ko na sa'yo na huwag kang mambubuli. Kung hindi lumalaban, bakit mo bineltokan? Ang hanapin mo, yung lalaban sa'yo. Yung kaya ka, hindi yung maliit ang papatulan mo. Something like that. So, and then we are going to encourage, motivate the learners and guide the learners na mag-set ng goals at sometimes facilitate learnings and assess learning. Excuse me. And then pwede tayong gumawa ng structured group, elements of cooperative learning, and alignment of the group task with the learning goals. I know that you are better than me when it comes to this. Ito naman, mga discussing new concept, no? Ito, finding practical application. Ito ay sa math, no? Sabi lang dito, if I may read, your mother gave you 50 pesos to buy her a bottle of oil and a bottle of soy sauce. How much change will the storekeeper give if the bottle of oil costs 23 pesos and the bottle of soy sauce costs 12 pesos? Sabi dito, what is asked in the situation, what are given in the situation, what will you do to get the answer? What is the answer? No? So, sa isang question, 4 yung tinanong niya. No? So, parang guided yung bata. Pwede natin gawin yan. Ang tawag ko dyan, no, yung time namin, is GRESAC. No? What are the given? What are the required? What is the equation or the formula? What is the solution? And then we have letter C. We have the checking, no, pag problem solving. Sa principles of collaborative learning, hetero, pwedeng mixed abilities, mixed gender, at saka interdependence. No? Hindi yung mga bawat may hina o nahihirapan, sila yung magkakasama, tapos yung mga magagaling, sila yung magkakagrupo, yung parang medyo mayayaman, magaganda ang suot, sila magkakagrupo. Pag yung mga suot, parang napabayaan ng magugulang, sila yung magkakagrupo. Huwag daw kung ganon. Maganda yung heterogeneous. Pati yung sa gender, ganon din, no? Huwag yung parang medyo lesbian, sila magkakasama. Yung mga gay, sila magkakasama. Yung mga boy, sila magkakasama. Something like that, no? So, at the same time, dapat interdependence pa rin. Okay, thank you, Ma'am Launi. Silently daw, no? So, poignant yung isa, the proper pronunciation. Nabasa ko. Thank you so much. Not poignant, silently. Apply, and ano na tayo, Objective 8, Indicator 7. Sabi dito, learning environment that sustain learners' active engagement and self-motivation. So, medyo mahirap yan, pero we have to do something about it. Paano tayo makaka-produce ng responsible for their own learning at saka yung self-motivation, no? Lagi nag-uumpisa sa bahay yan, but then, hindi naman natin pwedeng iasa sa parents yan, no? Tayong mga teacher, mag-iisip din tayo ng paraan, no? 56, ito naman ay sa rating lamang, 3 to 7 or not observed. Slide 57 na tayo. Ayan ay mga part din lamang, continuation kanina, mga application. No? And then, naandyan yung mga lesson, andyan din yung mga groupings niya, andyan yung mga pinagkuhanan niya, yung mga kinunay niya, no? Yung mga HTTPs, naandyan din dyan. No? So may mga clouds yan sa science. Bibigyan ko kayo ng kopya niyan. Slide 58, andyan naman ang mga group A, group B, group C. Andyan ang mga group members, yung working title. Andyan yung mga link ng record, collaborative work, no? So, pag renook natin, sabi nga kanina, dapat ay hetero, mixed gender, saka hindi yung parang homo lang, no? By gender, ganun. So, tapos dito, may clarification, under indicator 7, no, pwede nyo ipa-observe yan o hindi, no? Pag ayaw nyo ipa-observe, ilalagay nyo pa din sa ating DLL. So, magsasubmit kayo ng MOB kung ayaw nyo ipa-observe to. Yung mga MOB natin, yung activity, pagkat activity sheet, 1 lesson, and then yung mga lesson plan, video lesson, audio lesson, no? Yan yung sa objective 7 at saka sa objective 8. Kung ayaw nyo ipa-observe, kung ayaw nyo. So you have the choice if you want to waive it or not. It's up to you. Ito yung objective 9, design, adapt, implement teaching strategies that are responsive to learners with disabilities, giftedness, and talents. Pag mayroong disabilities ang bata, napansin natin, magde-design tayo ng teaching strategies. At the same time, kapag gifted, pag napansin natin. At saka, pag talent. So, iba yung sa kanila, iba yung sa normal. At meron teacher reflection form yan, no? Sa teacher reflection yan, bibigyan kayo niyan, yung inyong design, kung ano yung ginawa nyo. Pagkatapos niyan, bibigyan din ng certification from the school head, no? Na meron tayong ibinigay sa kanila na ibang teaching strategies na lesson at yan ay meron tayong reflection dyan, no? At yan ay observable din. Synchronous o kaya face-to-face. Sa objective 9 naman, yun din yun, hindi ko na ulitin yun. Sa objective 10, indicator 9, ganun din yun. But this time, yung indigenous group, no? Halimbawa, it belong to a certain tribe. Ayun na to, we're going to consider yung indigenous, yung sobrang hirap ng buhay. Palagay ko, pwede natin i-consider din yan, or working student, na syempre, kung lagi siyang wala, binibigyan din natin ng teaching strategies, ibang lesson, pagkatapos, meron tayong MOB niyan, teacher reflection form, and at the same time, meron tayong certification from the school head na ginawa natin siya being considered as indigenous. So if you have like this, please report it to our head, Ma'am Laila Del Mundo, para mapagtulungan po natin, no? If I were you, I would consider nga yung mga sobrang hirap ng buhay na laging absent or working student, no? Na medyo yung hindi sila makasabay. Andiyan pa po ba, before I proceed to the slide 65, konti na lang, 7 slides na lang.
Yes po.
Okay, thank you. For the 65 slide, I included this, although wala ito sa kanila. Ito yung COT natin, no? RPMS, no? So, ito lamang dito. Andito yung observer, yung date, katulad ng dati, teacher observe, yung quarter. Then, yung mga subject, no? Yung indicators dito nakalagay, no? So, hindi yung objectives ang nakalagay katulad dati. Dito, indicators, katulad ng 1, apply knowledge of content within and across curriculum teaching areas. Number 2, display proficient use of mother tongue, Filipino, and light and English to facilitate teaching and learning. So hanggang objective 9 po yan. Hindi ko nababasahin lahat. Tingnan nyo na lang, bibigyan naman namin kayo ng kopya. At muli ko ipapaalala, lahat ng objectives na to, lahat ng indicator na to, ilalagay nyo except doon sa objective 8 na indicator 7 yon. Sorry, objective 7 na indicator 6 yon, pwede nyo hindi ipa-observe yon. Saka objective 8, pwede nyo i-waive yon, hindi nyo ipa-observe yon. Pero, ilalagay nyo pa rin kung nasaan yung part na yon, hindi na yun i-observe, pero magbibigay kayo ng MOBs. No? So, may tanong po ba dyan? Sa rating sheet? Okay, silence means none. Hope so. Silence means none. Hope so. Anyway, I would like to thank Sir Alan for this slide 65 and 66 for providing this. No? Siya yung nag-provide niyan. Tinanong ko lang siya tungkol dito. Pagkatapos, nahirapan ako i-download. Pagkatapos, pinasa niya sa akin. Papasahan ko kayo ng buong PowerPoint mamaya. With the permission of our head teacher. Ito yung teacher reflection form. Bibigyan din kayo ng kopya nito, no? So, kapag meron kayong nakita ng special student or with disability, gifted students or talented students or student that be under the, what do you call it? I forgot. Ano nga tawag? Hello? Help me. Indigenous, no? Considered indigent. Considered indigent. So, bibigyan kayo niyan, no? Teacher reflection form. No? So, of course, magpro-provide ang school nito, no? Magpro-provide ang ating head teacher nito. And then, ito naman ay yung mga objectives lang, yung mga promptness na nakalagay dyan. No? Parang reflection din to yung observation natin. Katulad no, Clara is often seen restless or unfocused in class. She also has troubles following instruction and skips activities when left unsupervised. And then, ano yung ginawa mo? Action taken. You had a conference with her parents and found out from them that Clara was diagnosed with a learning disability. No? Meron tinatawag kasi, no? Thank you for my professor. No? I still remember there is what we call learning disability. No? Those who are having difficulty in a certain area of specialization, no? They cannot just learn right away. No? It will take time for them. Kaya they need help, no? And need another teaching strategies, no? Kaya yung iba, tingnan nyo sa math, simple, hindi nila ma-comprehend, no? So, huwag tayong maburn out doon kasi nga meron silang learning disability when it comes to that topic in math, when it comes to math, no? So, ganun din yan. Halimbawa ako, may learning disability nung ako'y college sa ballroom dancing. Hirap na hirap ako, parang tigas ng katawan ko. So, parang gano'n, no? Pero of course, naipasa ko naman, saka nag-practical exam ako. Somehow, meron tayong ganyan, no? So, titingnan lang natin yun, natutulungan ng bata. So, meron dito na prompt 2, no? So, nag-design siya ng lesson for the gifted and talented learners, no? Yung iba naman, parang naboboard sila kasi nga talented sila eh. Gifted sila eh, no? I do not know if you are familiar with Ferdinand, theater college na yun ngayon. Ang galing sa science nun, sa English ng batang yun, ha? Pero pagdating sa math, kung minsan yun, may mga time, hindi gumagawa, saka parang hindi niya maintindihan. So, kailangan i-guide ko yun. I forgot the last name eh. Magaling siya. Pati ngayon, ano ko siya sa Facebook, ang galing niya sa English. Grabe, parang lawyer pag nagbasa niyo yung mga idea niya, no? Especially when it comes to the issues, pag nabasa niyo. Ang girlfriend niya ngayon is si Francesca Rosario, na ang galing din sa English. May mga ganyan. Meron akong duty na matagal na pagdating sa math, pag marami exercises, tinatamad siya. Thank you, Ma'am Lai, no? Si Ferdinand Villanueva, yung estudyante. Pero ang galing ng bata nga. Pero pagdating sa math, pag hindi mahaba pasensya mo, maiinis ka. Kasi ayaw gumawa. Minsan ganyan ng genius, eh, no? It's boring, no? It's boring for them because they are gifted to answer many exercises, no? Yung isang duty ko, nasa RA na yon, hinawakan ko mula grade 4 hanggang grade 8. Hindi na ngayon. Grade 9 na siya ngayon. Kayang-kaya niya na. So, ganun siya. Tinatamad siya. Kaya tayo siya ng tayo. Kaya lang ako, bayad ako nun. So, pag ganyan, titingnan din natin kung bakit po sila ganun. No? So, magde-design tayo. Tapos, meron tayong meron tayong certificate para sa kanila, at saka meron tayong reflection form para sa kanila. And then ponder and share, quality is never an accident. Uy, 69 na tayo, slide 69. Quality is never an accident. It is always the result of intelligent effort. Tapos sabi dito, 70 na, yay! The most important school-related factor that creates an impact on the quality of learners as school produces is teacher quality. All factors influencing the attainment of teacher quality therefore matters. Topacio A, 2002. Siguro this is from Ma'am Adelma Topacio, no? Lahat daw ay kapag in order to attain a teacher quality, lahat ay mahalaga, no? Lahat ay mahalaga. And I do agree with that, no? Matter of the subject matter, katulad ngayon in the technology, I'm not so good when it comes to the technology in the app, but I would like to admit that it is very important nowadays, the medium of instruction, the delivery of the content, the blah, 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 the blah, blah, blah. All of these are important or matter, no? Para may teacher quality. Let me end with this, like what I said yesterday in the ESP department, that the reflection of the teachers depend on the quality of the teacher, no? The school will be known because of the quality of the teacher. Like, for example, in UP, the University of the Philippines. So, they are no, mataas sila ngayon, nasa ranking, hindi siya. So, they are known because of the teacher quality. And let us always remember that sometimes the school, of course, the school will be remembered, but the teacher will be remembered most. No? Of what kind of teacher are we? Or the quality of us. This is a joke, but I hope we are going to learn something. In college, no? Sinisi niya, no? Sinisi niya yung high school teacher kasi mahina yung bata, no? The quality of the teacher, no? Sabi nung because of the quality of the teacher in the senior high school, no? Sinisi niya. Sabi ng senior high school, it's not my fault, it's because of the quality of the teacher of the high school, of the junior high school. Grabe, no? Of course, the junior high school said, it's not my problem. This is just because of the quality of the teacher in the elementary, specifically in grades 4 to 6, no? Pero syempre, hindi nagpadaig yung grades 4 to 6. Why blame us? It's just because of the quality of teachers of grade 1 to grade 3. Kasi yun ang starting, no? Yun ang starting, sila ang sinisi. Kawawa naman sila, no? Pero may pinasahan pa sila. It's not our fault. It's the fault of the kindergarten teacher. Kawawa naman si kindergarten teacher, wala nang papasahan. Pero sabi ni kindergarten teacher, do not blame me. It's just because of the mother. No, it's in her genes. Nasa genes daw ng mother. Sabi ni mother, not my genes, sorry. It's because of my husband. Doon sa asawang lalaki, no? Ipinasa, pero kawawa naman si husband, kanino pa yan niya ipapasa yung fault. Sabi ni husband, I admit it, I'm not good, I'm not intelligent, but it's not my fault. It's because of the school where I studied. Bumalik sa school. Kawawa naman ng school. But the school has the last say. Sabi ng school, it's not my fault, it's because of the quality of the teacher that we have. So, it is very important, no? Laging tayong matatandaan, we will be remembered always by our students, no? We are not going to remember our students, time will come. If we are aging and they are also aging, saka nagbabago na din sila. Pero yung turo natin, yung quality na itinuro natin ay hindi po malilimutan ng bata. So I wish my fellow teachers in math department that let us help one another in order to attain the good quality with the help of our head teacher, Ma'am Laila Del Mundo, and the school, our school head, Ma'am Rowena Hermoso, together with the guide of all the head teachers and master teacher. If I can contribute to you, do not hesitate to 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 talk to me so that I can contribute to you. Thank you so much for having me. Salamat sa pakikilahok at pakikinig. I stop